Welcome back to Winton Motor Raceway and the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul. 2 events left on today's program. Coming up next is the Horsell Consulting Sidecars. It is the reigning champions from 2019. Of course, no championship held in 2020. Corey and Daniel Turner on their Suzuki LCR 1000, who will start from pole position with Underwood and Ford in second and Bayliss and White starting out of third.
Ford and Menzies start from 4th position with Clancy and Bonney on their LCR 600. Good result for them. In 5th and 6th is Bear and Bear on the Alvin 1000 Suzuki.
Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis in 7th place. Edison Schluter in 8th place and Rayner and Warren in 9th. The field rounded out by Ford and Menzies. Strange to see them back there. They must have had a problem in qualifying to be that far back on the grid.
Quite a big field we've got here of sidecars. It's good to see the Horsell sidecar class is definitely very, very exciting. And Horsell Consulting, if it wasn't for them, these boys wouldn't be here, so we're really grateful for their support.
Of course, Formula 1 and Formula 2 machines as well, all out there as they get underway. Sidecars are go, Steve Martin. Look at the start from Corey and Daniel Turner. They have literally just blitzed everyone as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. As we mentioned, the cross-promotion of Motorcycling Australia. Well, Corey Turner is also a very handy superbike rider, has been on the podium in ASBK when he made his debut for Desmo Sport Ducati a couple of years ago. Will hopefully be riding in the championship this year as well, but this weekend he's only on the sidecar and he's got his younger brother Daniel for company this weekend.
Yeah, well, he might be handy on a superbike, but I tell you what, he's really handy in a sidecar as well, because I mean, these guys have just been ripping it up ever since they've got into this sidecar. The #1 plate, and for no reason. I mean, they are not hanging around, they're not taking prisoners. Look at the way that their bike moves around.
Well, the other thing is that I was talking to the 52 Motorsports team, and they were telling me that the strange thing the other sidecar riders can't comprehend is that Corey just seems to take the same lines as he takes on a superbike, and so far this weekend it has been working for him because he set the new lap record. I think the old lap record was a high 30. He did a 29.112 in the race yesterday morning, and that was the fastest lap of the weekend, and is now the new lap record, a 129.112 on a sidecar. Very impressive.
Yeah, that was an impressive lap time, and not only that, what you said was exactly demonstrated to us as he shot through on the superbike line, and all the other guys took a tighter line in their chairs. So you know, absolutely. Look at the lead that he's got already. Those guys are gone down the main straight there. But it is Ford and Menzies in 3rd position at the moment, with Bayliss and White in 2nd.
Yeah, good to see that Howard Ford and Lee Menzies have made their way back up to the sort of positions that we usually associate with the number 27 machine. Of course, former Australian champions. And to see that so far back on the grid, they must have had a problem. Currently sitting right with them is Clancy, that's Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney. Of course, Pat Clancy from a sidecar racing family. I think his dad and his mum have all raced sidecars in the past, so good to see Pat Clancy continuing on the tradition, with Steve Bonney, one of the most experienced passengers out there in the field.
Yeah, on the 600 as well, the Clancy is, so yeah, good to see him out there and mixing it up with those big F1 machines.
Yeah, Pat Clancy had a spin yesterday, and unfortunately, it meant the end of their race a little bit early, but he's making amends for that today, doing a really good job on board bike number 26.
There's Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis, always with a beautifully prepared machine. I mean, Bruce has been around sidecars for most of his life, I'd say. Just loves them, doesn't he? He's got probably a few in the shed of different types and styles, but that number 4 machine looking glorious out there today.
Certainly is, as we look at Howard Ford, Lee Menzies on bike number 27, making their way down the back straight on the Formula 1 machine, with the Formula 2 machine, the leading Formula 2 machine, in fact, of Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney right behind.
Isn't it amazing how that, you know, just the corner speed of the little 600s can lap with those 1000cc F1 machines? They're quite close, just really they lose a bit down the straight, but other than that, in the brakes and into the corners, look at Clancy and Bonney catch up to Ford and Menzies at the moment. Like,
yeah, as you said, it's all about corner speed. Oh, look, he's actually got better drive out of the corner, and he's gone past. I think that Howard Ford, Lee Menzies must have missed a gear or something there.
Got to have had a problem
because you know, that's a lot of momentum to be lost on the big LCR 1000 for bike number 27. But just looking back in the field as well, there's Formula 2 machines now up into third place with Bonnie and Clancy. But we've also got Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis in fifth place on a Formula 2 machine, and Daryl Rayner and Karen Warren on bike number 16 in sixth place. Then you've got a couple of F1 machines of Declan and Noel Bear on bike number 14 in seventh place, and Underwood and Ford, who are currently running back in 12th position.
And there is the number 30, of course. That is Stephen Bayliss and Charles White from New South Wales on their Suzuki engined machine.
Well, and Bayliss, a name synonymous with sidecar racing, and has been for many, many years. I think it goes back 2 or 3 generations in the Bayliss family. They've all been racing sidecars. Stan
Bayliss, is that a name that I can recall? Is that one of them?
That is exactly one of them. But there's the number 1 machine. And I was actually talking to, as I said, the team yesterday, and the Turner's dad used to race sidecars with his brother many years ago in the Australian Championship, and now Corey and Daniel Turner are following on the family tradition on the 52 Motorsports machine. That is a family that just lives and breathes motorcycles. Of course, their sister Shelby has raced solos as well as Corey.
And she's raced. Has she been in the sidecar? I think she has been.
She has been in the sidecar. Yep. So they're right into it. This family, and a brand new fairing this weekend on their LCR Suzuki, because the Louis Christ Racing machine, the Swiss-built sidecars that have dominated this sport in all around the world for many, many years now.
Yeah, they are such a beautiful-looking machine, a monocoque frame on the LCR. You know, they're pretty much hand-built, put in an 8,000cc engine, hotted up, and you've got a missile on wheels. And these boys are actually making it go like a missile too, aren't they?
They are, and as we said, look at the size of that rear tyre. They don't mind getting that one spinning either as they come out of corners, as they just apply the power. But look how hard Daniel's working at the back there to try and keep the back wheel down to get traction as they come out of the corners. And then also the way that he swings his body from side to side as they go through the corners to try and make sure that that inside wheel stays down, especially here on the entry into turn 2. You can see there, not happy with the line being taken by the Reynolds Brown machine, getting in their way, because every lap is an opportunity to lower the lap record. A 1:29.3 is his fastest lap in this race. It is only 0.2 of a second off their lap record. They're not hanging around, even though this is the last race of the weekend.
Well, and they've got a 22-second lead, 24-second lead. It's just incredible. They are pushing and pushing and pushing. But, you know, what would you expect? Would you expect anything different from a Turner?
They won race 1 by 46.9 seconds.
Well, they're not going that good then, relatively, are they? They're only 25 seconds in front at the moment, so they better speed up.
Yesterday afternoon, though, the light rain and windy conditions meant that the track was a little bit wet and very much down on temperature, and they actually only finished in second position, and their lap times were about 11 seconds slower. That race yesterday afternoon was won by Steve Bayliss and Charles White on board their LCR 1000. So it's been an Suzuki LCR domination this weekend in the sidecar class.
One thing I love about the sidecars is the different styles of riding and hanging on and sticking your foot in the air and that sort of thing. You know, we just saw that with this machine here. I think Shannon Brown, the passenger there, see the foot sticking in the air there? It's got to be very, very physical. I've done it off-road, but I haven't been on an on-road sidecar.
I actually tried to fit in the Irving Vincent sidecar, Stephen. You know, I've got dodgy knees. I couldn't even bend my knees enough to get into the back of the sidecar, let alone try and throw my mass from side to side with the G-forces going the opposite way.
I'd imagine that everyone had a sigh of relief when they realised you couldn't fit.
Well, that would have slowed the lap times down, that's for sure. But you can see the crew there looking to see how everything's going as bike number 30 makes its way down the straight. That's right, they're sitting in second place at the moment. Their fastest lap was at 35.8. That's about 6.5 seconds slower than our race leaders, Corey and Daniel Turner, on board bike number 1. Alan Ford and Lee Menzies in third place, and it's Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney, our leading Formula 2 machine. Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis, our second Formula 2 machine. And Daryl Rayner on board bike number 16 with Catherine Warren is the third place Formula 2 machine.
The other thing I like about these sidecars, the modern era sidecars, they're just so clean, so nice, well prepared. These guys really do put a lot of effort into making them nice and reliable and fast, and everything's adjustable. So, we get some really good racing, and, it really does bring families together. This, it's a lot different to solos. I mean, solos, like, you're out there, you're on your own. But here, you're doing it with your mate.
That's right, you can have fun with your family or a good friend as well. As we watch Howard Ford and Lee Menzies, so I'd like to know how many years this pairing have been around. They seem to have been racing sidecars for as long as I can remember, Steve, as they make their way down through the Dunlop corner now. And down that back straight to AMMF corner. That's, of course, Australian Motorcycle and Marine Finance, a great sponsor of the championship in 2021.
Yeah, really good to have them on board again, and, let's hope that can flourish into the future.
So here we are watching the Clancy and Bonnie entry, the leading Formula 2 machine. They're on lap 7 of 8. That means our race leader will be... well, not too long to go for him, because he's probably that far ahead that he'll be coming around through the final corners any minute now. You watch the rest of the field. That's the 18 machine of Reynolds and Brown. That is Simon Reynolds and Shannon Brown on their Darley Aluminium Big Wheel Tyre and Auto entry.
Yep, just up behind the 105. Good to see them. Stuart Gorry and Bradley Gorry on the Shelburne 600.
There's some more names that have been around sidecar racing for a long time.
And they've just gone through on those guys. Once again, I love that style. Hang that foot in the air.
We've seen some style. No, that's the 18 machine. Looks like it's expired.
It's pumping out some fluid there too.
Yeah, that looks like it is at the exit of Dunlop corner. They haven't made it down to AMMF corner, and they've done the right thing. Got off the track as quickly as possible.
Yep.
I'd say there might be a little bit of a clean-up there required after that machine cried enough.
Yep, unfortunately. They're both obviously okay.
So 7 laps complete for our race leaders, Corey and Daniel Turner. And I think sidecars are on the program at the next round at Wakefield Park as well. You might watch these two go whistling around Wakefield Park. We say that, this circuit is very short and interesting. You've got 3 kilometres and 12 corners in it. Well, Wakefield Park, I think, is only about 2.2, 2.3 corners.
Well, honestly, I think the sidecars at Wakefield Park would be crazy. It'd be really, really exciting to watch. And
it's not the widest circuit either.
No, you wouldn't be able to literally, you would have to hang on, because they'd be dancing all over the place, I would say. But yeah, really look forward to seeing them there. It's the final lap now, though, and it is Turner and Turner.
All the way from Queensland, it's been a sensational weekend for them. 2 race wins, a new lap record, and second place in the race that they weren't able to win. And that was probably because of the conditions, because you could hear the amount of wheel spin that they were having. They obviously raced that wet race with a slick rear tyre, because it takes a fair bit to change the tyres on a sidecar. But they're on their last lap now. They lead by 44.7 seconds. So they're going to try and eclipse the 46.9 seconds. There we go. They've crossed the checkered flag. And the timing monitor will update in just one moment to tell us how far behind our second place is. And it could very well be that this is their biggest win of the weekend, as Corey and Daniel take the plaudits of the crowd. Or DJ, as he prefers to be known. I'm not sure if he's spinning discs or whether that's just his initials.
29.384, fastest lap of the race. A couple tenths off their lap record, and that gap is 42.
Well, it was 47 at the third intermediate. The second place hasn't made it across the line yet.
Yeah, okay.
They're halfway around their victory lap and almost stopping at the canteen for a snack. There's bike number 44 making his way across the line. That's Collins and
there we go. 47.9. Is that the record?
47.9. That is 1 second more than their victory on yesterday morning.
Wow, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Their fastest lap of 29.384 was 0.2 of a second off their new lap record.
They literally should start from the back of the grid, be made to drink a cup of tea before they go, and then go.
That would make it far more interesting for the spectators. But there's the confirmation of your results. Corey and Daniel Turner take the win from Steve Bayliss and Charles White. They were victors in the race yesterday. Then it was Howard Ford and Lee Menzies in third place. Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney, the victors in the F2 class, in fourth position outright. Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis were second in the F2 class and fifth outright. Then it was Declan and Noel Bear in sixth place. Rayner and Warren, Edison Schluter, Collins and Danuzzo, and Gorry rounding out the top 10. Unfortunately, Collins and Gorry were a lap down. The Horsell Consulting Sidecars will be back with ASBK later on this year. As we said, next round at Wakefield Park. Should be very, very interesting. And of course, keep up to date with all of the happenings in relation to the